Good morning all of you. This is Nirmala, belongs to the Department of Biotechnology at Mahendra Arts and Science College, Palipatti. So today's class is discussion about the plasmid. So we know generally the plasmid is a vector. We can use it as a vector for the in the field of recombinant DNA technology and genetic engineering. So the plasmid is self-replicating and extra chromosomal DNA. So this is the typical structure of the plasmid. So in this plasmid structure, we can insert this or the regions. This first one is origin of replication. So the origin of replication is most essential for the replication process because the plasmid is autonomously replicating extra chromosomal DNA. So it will not depend anything for the replication. The second one is antibiotic resistant gene. So in this antibiotic resistant gene, we can insert any antibiotic like ampicillin or tetracycline resistant region. Second one is the selectable markers, then promoter region, then 5' and 3' sites. Next one is the restriction sites, then inserted gene. So in the place of inserted gene, we can insert or we can make a recombinant DNA for the use of recombinant DNA technology. So next one is the basic information about the plasmid. So this is for example, this is the E. coli bacteria. So in this, the bacteria itself, it have their chromosomes. So along with its chromosomes, some small circular DNA are present nearby the chromosomes. This extra chromosomal small circular DNA is known as plasmid DNA. So this ranges from 100 base pairs to 5000 base pairs based on the variable species of bacteria. So next one is the basic introduction about the plasmid. Already I told you the plasmid are extra chromosomal because it is present along with the bacterial own chromosomes, genetic elements found in the bacteria only or the prokaryotic, especially the bacteria. So there are several pieces of DNA that possesses the extra genes. These extra genes will be used for the replication processes. Next one, the copy number. So the copy number is, what is to be copy number means the number of plasmids which is present in a bacterial cell is known as the copy number. For example, the minimum, the range between 1 to 20 plasmids are present in the bacterial cell. So the number of plasmids present in a bacterial cell is known as a copy number. Next one is one of the main characteristic features of the plasmid is some of the plasmids are integrative and most of them are non-integrative. So the integrative plasmid means, already I told you, the plasmid it can replicate autonomously, but some of the plasmid depend their bacterial chromosomes for their replications. This type of plasmids can integrate with the host chromosomes for the replications. So this type of plasmids are known as integrative plasmids or otherwise known as episomes. So these plasmids will not essential for the normal functioning or the normal metabolic activities of a particular bacteria cell. But if the bacteria possesses the plasmid, it will additional to the bacteria for various factors. For example, virulence or conjugations or conjugation process. For these special things, the bacteria possess the plasmid. So next one is the characteristics and features of the plasmid. So in the first one is physical properties. The physical properties means it can exist autonomously, or next one it can replicate independently of the bacterial chromosome, especially the episomes. Because episomes are integrative plasmid, it can integrate with the host chromosomes for their replications. So apart from that, all the plasmids can replicate autonomously. Next, it has a molecular weight of 106 to 108, which may encode from 40 to 50 genes. So these genes are essential for the plasmid function and replication process and all. So the next one is the plasmid as large as 2 million base pairs can occur in some of the in few bacteria only. The bases the genes are present 2 million bases. Next one is the replication. Already I told you it's a self-replication except the episomes are integrative plasmids. Next one, curing. It can be lost spontaneously. Sometimes it will lost spontaneously. Next one, incompatibility. So this some of the plasmids, for example, in a bacteria, if A and B plasmids are present, they are mutually present. This is a compatibility plasmids. So next characteristic features of a plasmid is incompatibility. So So the incompatibility means in a bacterial cell, if the two plasmids exist, one plasmid will kill or destroy the other types of plasmids. So this characteristics is known as incompatibility. So, but especially in some of the plasmids, two plasmids present in the same bacterial cell, it can exist together. So this is known as compatibility factor. Okay, so these two types of factor exist in a plasmid. Next one is transferability. Some plasmids are self-transferable from one bacterial cell to the another bacterial cell without need of any parameters. Next one is recombination. So the recombinations already we saw that integrative plasmids are episomes. These episomes can integrate with the host chromosomes. So this is known as the recombination. Next one is the mobilization. That means the movement. By the process of integration, the self-transferable plasmid can mobilize the chromosomal gene or other plasmid or the nearby the bacterial cell. So these are the physical properties of the plasmid. So the next one is the types. So the types of plasmids can be categorized based on the functions, based on the structure, based on the characteristic features. So the first, based on the functions, the plasmid are categorized into 5 types. The first one is R plasmid. R means the resistant plasmid, and second one is F plasmid. That is the possess the F factor. Third one is bacteriocytogen R whole plasmid. Next one is degradative plasmid, and the last one is virulence plasmid. So we will go through the one by one. First one is the R plasmid. So the R means it indicates the resistance plasmid. So these are like the basic structure of the plasmid. So circular and double stranded DNA elements. The resistant plasmid are of two types. One is larger one, the second one is the smaller one. So smaller ones is the molecular weight of 10 million, and larger size of resistant plasmid have the molecular weight of 16 million. So what is the difference between these two are the conjugation process only. The R plasmid, the large size of R plasmids contains the larger segments of DNA or extra genes are present for the need of conjugation process. But in the smaller plasmid, there few genes are present because it will not involve in the conjugation process. So it is smaller in size, only few genes will be present in the smaller size of resistant plasmid. So the next type of plasmid is F plasmid. So the F indicates the fertility plasmid or the F factor, fertility factor. So it contains the genetic information which controls the process of conjugation. It contains the basic genetic information necessary for these three important processes. One is extrachromosomal existence, that means the plasmid existence within the bacterial cell. And second one is self-transfer. And third one is the synthesis of sex pilus, because the production of sex pilus will be very most important in the process of conjugation. So for these three processes, some of the genes will be involved. So these genes are encoded by this F plasmid. So next category is based on the role in conjugation process. The plasmid are of two types are based on the presence of F factor. One is the conjugative and non-conjugative process. That means in conjugative plasmid, the F plasmid or the F factor will be present, but in non-conjugative plasmid, the F factor will be absent. Conjugative plasmids, they carry genes that are responsible for the transferring themselves to the other living bacterial cells. In non-conjugative, the F plasmid, I already told you, the F plasmid or F factor will be absent. For example, the gram-positive bacteria. In the gram-positive bacteria, especially the gram-positive cocci. For example, Haemophilus influenza, Neisseria gonorrhea, they are usually very small, ranges from 1 to 10 Daltons. When the same bacterium carries both the conjugative in some cases, in some types of bacteria, in non-conjugative and conjugative, in some of the bacterial cases, in some few species of bacterial cell, the conjugative and non-conjugative plasmids exist or coexist together, means it can be mobilized for transfer to the another cell. So the next type of plasmid is virulence plasmid. This is most important because if a bacterial cell causes the diseases to the plants or animals or human being, if a bacterial cell possesses the virulence plasmid only, it can be able to cause the diseases to the host. So this type of plasmid is known as the virulence plasmid. That means The pathogenicity of a particular bacteria will depends upon the virulence plasmid only. So with the help of this plasmid, bacteria will be transformed into a pathogen. Otherwise, it will beneficiary. It may be the beneficiary bacteria. It carries the genes which are responsible for causing the diseases to the host cells like the plant, animal, and human beings also. So in virulence category, the bacteria, the substances which will be produced by the plasmid or the bacteria, it can be categorized into two. One is bacteriocinogen and second one is cold plasmid. So coliforms, for example, cold plasmid will be produced by the coliforms, example Escherichia coli. So the coliforms produce the extracellular colicins. So based on the production of colicin, based on the concentration of colicins, the bacteria, the Escherichia coli will cause the diseases to the human beings. In the several species of coliforms, the cholicinogenic cofactors are present. So this category of E. coli only will cause the diseases. These bacterial factors are the lethal toxins. The toxin means we know the poisonous substances which will be produced by the bacterial cell. For the closely related species or even for the different strains of the same species. If the bacteria can produce the colicin or produce the toxin, it will cause the other species of the bacteria also. Some bacterial substances are produced not only by the coliforms but also the other genus of the bacteria. For example, this group of substances is known as bacteriocins. If E. coli bacteria or coliforms will produce the toxin means it is named as a colicin. So other than coliforms, the other species or other genus of So in the category of virulence plasmid, the two types of toxin will be produced by the bacteria. One is bacteriocinogen and cold plasmid. The cold plasmid or colicin substances will be produced by the coliforms. The other type is bacteriocinogen will be produced by the genus other than coliforms. For example, colicin will be produced by E. coli, I already told you. The pyocin will be produced by the bacteria Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Next one, the marcescens will be produced by the bacteria Serratia marcescens. Next is the diphtheria, the bacterial toxin diphtheria will be produced by the bacteria Cardibacterium diphtheria. So this category of toxins will be called as a bacteriocinogen. The toxin, if it is the toxin will be produced by the coliforms, it is named as a colicin. So these are the different types of plasmids based on the function, based on the characteristics, features, and based on the pathogenicity. So the next one is the functions and applications of a plasmid. The main function of the plasmid is the spread of antibiotic resistance. For example, the ampicillin resistant and tetracycline resistant, like that, the antibiotic, the spreading of antibiotic resistant genes. These resistant genes are carried within the plasmid and are transferred from one cell to the another cell. For example, if normal bacteria to the recombinant bacteria, or normal DNA to the recombinant DNA. Next one, the plasmid is used in the recombinant DNA technology to deliver the desired drug into the body. This is nowadays a lot of diseases are developing. So by using this recombinant DNA, in the field of recombinant DNA, we are using the plasmid as a vector. We are curing the so many diseases. It is termed as a gene therapy. So a plasmid is used for the insertion of the human, for example, the insertion of the human insulin on the human body. Next, the insertion of the human growth hormone in the mammalian cells of some animal tissues. So these are the main applications and function of a plasmid which can be used as a vector in the field of recombinant DNA technology. Okay, thank you.